Wow. Okay.
Lollers, sometimes you've got to pardon yourself. We're playing Sylas today in this beginner champ guide. We're going to cover him off so you guys can pick him up and win some more games pretty quickly with this AP burst skirmishing mage scaling champion. He's a bunch of different things. It's honestly like pretty scary how much this champ can do. If you want to pick up somebody in the mid lane who's AP based, you can flex them into the top lane, into the jungle. You want to be able to dash, stun, deal burst damage, heal yourself back up, and on top of all that, steal anybody on the enemy team's ultimate and use it against them at max AP ratio. This is your champ. Okay, so we're in a practice mode here. We're just going to be laying it against the bot and having some fun talking about the abilities. Really quickly, I'll say this about Sylas. He's almost kind of a stat check champ that scales well. So early game, you probably want to play a little bit more passively. Make sure you don't die. Just give yourself a chance to get to that first item spike, your second item spike, and then you're going to be able to really pop off with this champ. So into range matchups and in general, as beginners, what I'd recommend is maxing out your Q first, okay? This is your ranged skill shot ability. It shoots out a chain, or both chains, I guess, and on the point of convergence of those chains, you can control where in the length of the chain that point happens. It's going to deal some burst damage and explode and slow the enemy champions. Okay, so you can use this Q ability to secure last hits. You can use it to harass enemies like that. We've already got it to half health with a few Qs, and you can use it to deal, obviously, damage in general. So I would recommend as beginners maxing out that Q first. I know some people max the W out, especially if they're into melee matchups. You can definitely give that a try. Generally, when I picked up Sylas, I found more success just maxing out that Q first. It allowed me to push waves faster and then get roams off as well. So I like the Q max, but that's me personally. Okay, now in lane, second ability you're usually going to pick up is your E. You want to make sure you pick up this ability so that if a gank comes at around level 2 or 3, depending on where your jungler is, you can use the first part of the E, which is a dash, and then the second part, which is he throws his chains out to stun and lock down a champion. So you can see here, if you can catch them with that second part, it's going to pull you into them and slow them and knock them up and do all kinds of good CC. Okay? Now, the chains do not fire through minions, so to land that second part of that chain, you got to make sure you're in a spot where you can throw it into the clear at that enemy champion. It is tough to do, and again, that's why I like maxing that Q, because you can use the Q and the E in conjunction to get some really good dash and stun plays off. Okay. Now the third basic ability we're going to learn in lane here is our W. It's Kingslayer. Sylas lunges a very short distance, deals some magic damage, but really what we're after with this W here in the Kingslayer is the healing that it gives us if we use it against a champion, because you can use this against a minion as well to deal some damage. But what we want to do is we want to use it against a champion to heal up and do some damage. Now the more health that we're missing, the more healing we're going to get from the W. So the best way to use it is probably closer to the end of your trades, at least in the early game, to make sure that you get the maximum healing benefit of it, okay? So a basic trade combo on someone who's ranged, if you don't want to just try and poke with your Q like this, is going to be to E into them, use the second part of your chain throw to stun them and get you into their faces to close the gap, and then you're going to Q instantly on them. You're going to try and land that convergence point right on them so it deals the burst damage and slows them. And then you're going to end that combo with your W, okay? So here, let's just try and get this cannon minion, and now we're going to just try and get into her. Okay, we're going to use E. See how your E can be used against a minion, potentially, and stop you from dashing and closing the distance onto them? You got to watch out for that. The toughest part of playing Sylas, I would say, as a beginner, is learning how to hit your E and your Q together. If you can do that, you're going to win a lot of matchups very easily. If you don't, even if you miss just one part of them, people can punish you very, very hard for it, okay? So we're going to try and land the E here. You can see, now we're going to Q right onto her, and we're going to W onto her. Okay, I don't think we can finish this off. We can probably flash and do it, right? So like that's an example of kind of even a pre-level 6 all-in with Sylas. Now, again, we're maxing our Q up first, and the reason I like to do that is to push these waves faster. One thing we have not talked about at all yet in this video, because there's so much to cover off even with just his basic abilities, is his passive, the burst part of his auto attacks, which is every time you use an ability, you're going to gain a stack, up to 3 stacks total. And then when you have those stacks, your auto attacks basically become enhanced lashes his chains around him and deals some more damage. Okay, so I'll show that here. You'll see the stacks in the bottom of your HUD. So if we E onto her, we got 2 stacks, we got 3 stacks, and now all of our autos deal these like whiplash chains around them. Okay, so that really maximizes your trading power in different types of engagements, and I would say the good Sylas players make sure that they do that well in the trades to maximize that damage output. Okay, if you're more beginner at Sylas, you're probably not going to weave in auto attacks into your trades, so make sure you're using all aspects of his kit to maximize your damage and get the most burst possible. Now, if the champ goes out of lane with Sylas, you want to use all of your abilities, like your E and even your W, to try and push waves, because the auto attack enhancer is area of effect. So even if you don't have a champion to E or W, but if you've pushed them out of lane, just EW the wave, because you're going to get enhanced auto attacks and push that wave in faster. Okay, so we finally picked up a point in our R. Let's talk about our build really quick before we actually pick up our ultimate ability here and talk about that. So there's a very simple build path you're going to follow with Sylas right now. It's going to be the Boost of Lucidity Rush and the Everfrost Rush. Okay, this is 2 great items on Sylas. If you can bring your cooldown really low on your item or on your abilities, you can spam them more, and that's really great for Sylas. And also with Everfrost, you're getting health, you're getting ability power, you're getting mana, so you can spam your abilities, you're getting more ability haste. These 2 items in conjunction work really well on Sylas. Depending on how much gold you have in your first back, I like to get the Lost Chapter first, just so I can spam items. But if you have 900 gold and you can't get the Lost Chapter, get the boots, get one of those 2 first, and make sure you have that. In terms of runes and summoner spells, I probably would recommend running the TP with Sylas and the Flash. Okay, it's just like a better combo for his type of a kit, and if you're going to be going back and buying your item or getting mana, the Flash also helps with some of those E engages. So, you know, things like that just kind of work a bit better for Sylas. You could run Ignite if you're really confident in winning trades early, but again, Sylas is kind of like more of a scaling champion, so the TP I find just works better on him. If you're getting super early kills, it's probably going to happen without the Ignite anyway if someone's giving you that opportunity as Sylas, but again, a little bit more of personal preference there. In terms of runes, right now Conqueror is the highest win rate rune recommended on Sylas. Just everything in his kit gives you the ability to stack this up super fast and start to spit out the max damage and the healing. Other things you want to run with him is Presence of Mind for some of that mana sustain. Obviously the Tenacity for the ability to not get slowed down so much, and then Last Stand works really well in conjunction with the type of playstyle you're going to be at with Sylas, where you're kind of Wing Kingslaying to gain a bunch of health back when you're really low. Secondary Tree, probably a little bit more personal preference than anything. Again, right now the highest win rate is I think Biscuit Delivery for some more in-lane sustain, and then the Cosmic Insight for the Summoner Spell Haste and the Item Haste works really well. Okay, second ability you're going to max out is the W, and then again, we're just looking for trades on ranged champions. You want E into them, Q instantly right on top of them, and W, and just weave those autos in, right? We basically 100 her to 0 just with that trading pattern. Okay, see, she's out of lane here, so now I'm going to use my abilities to get stacks in my passive and just push this wave even faster, okay? All right, now the ultimate. Hijack. So Sylas basically can steal any enemy's ultimate and use it against them. And the really scary thing about this is you can play very strategic as Sylas and pick different ults for different situations. That's why he's such a strong champion, okay? You can choose out of 5 ultimates on which one you think is best for whatever scenario you're in, okay? The other cool thing is because you're scaling with AP on all your abilities, your ultimate does the same as well. It's going to take whatever you steal and basically beef it up with AP damage. So let's try that here. Let's try and steal Cass's ult when we get up here. We'll steal it, and then we'll try and stun both of them and get the kill, okay? So to steal an ult, you're going to see you have a range. You have to click R on the champion, and then you're going to click R again to use that ultimate. So we're going to try and steal Cass's ult here. So we're just going to walk up to her. We're going to steal it. Then we're going to use it on both of them, and we're just going to try and start beating people down now. Okay, we're going to keep following this up because I think we can slow her with that chain and get the double kill. Okay, so that's an example of how you can not only roam and gank, but also steal ultimates. Now, my ultimate has its own cooldown. I will not be able to steal Cass's ultimate again next. So the game kind of forces you to say, hey, you can't just spam the same enemy ultimate over and over again. So now maybe we're going to steal as a next ult Kale's ult, right? So that we can live forever. Part of playing Sylas really well is knowing which ultimate to steal at the right time in the right situation. So let's see if we can sneak up behind her. Let's land that E, Q, W combo, right? So we're going to try and, if she doesn't make us close the distance, we can just open with Q and then save our E to close the distance after, right? So here we're just going to keep trying to burst her down. She's going to use that ult. We won't be able to kill her. But when we have our ultimate in 30 seconds, we're going to be able to steal her ult now and then maybe turret dive, right? So knowing all of the enemies' ults, again, is what makes this tough. So as a beginner, he's a very tough champ because playing him well, you'll need to understand all of the enemies' ultimates. But the cool thing is, if you like maining one champ and you don't want to main someone who's going to get boring or like repetitive, Sylas really doesn't get boring or repetitive because you're always basically have up to 5 new abilities per game in your kit. You can steal anybody's ultimate, okay? So let's go back. I think we have enough gold to buy the Lucidity boots and continue with the Everfrost, and we'll try and steal Kale's ult when she comes back. Our ultimate is actually on a ridiculously low cooldown even at the start of the game, just 90 seconds, so that's like pretty nice. And it's going to get you a lot more opportunities to kind of snowball. But don't worry if you don't snowball with Sylas. He's scaling, right? Early in the game is his weakest point. He's strongest the later the game goes and the more items you have. So just try and make sure you stay alive and use your Q to farm safely and harass and poke. When you max that W, you're basically telling yourself you want to brawl it out more, and that's why for beginners I wouldn't recommend maxing out that W, just because you're going to have to get to know the different types of engagements, okay? So here, I don't know how that missed, but we're just going to keep following her up here. And if we need to, we can steal her ult, and I'll just flash and kill her. If the turret there was going to kill me, I could use the ultimate C like this by clicking R again and then survive that turret. Okay, so we'll have our ultimate again in just about a minute. We want to max out that W second. We'll walk bottom here and see if we can turret dive this Warwick. Now, turret diving is actually pretty effective with Sylas because of your W Kingslayer, because you can heal and burst as well with that. So you want to try and make sure, probably not when people are full health, but when they're low, you can try and get that burst off under tower, okay? So here, these guys look like they're going to come in. Maybe they're going to go for an engage here. We're just going to hang out here for a second, see if there's something to do. I don't think we'll be able to burst anybody out, but we're going to just use our abilities. We're saving our E to really gap close at the last second, and you can try and use your W to get some kill steals if you can. We couldn't do it that time, but not too bad overall. So Warwick here, just to show an example, if he was to step up there, we'll try and get a stun off on him just to show you the range of the E, because it has essentially 2 dashes if you can land that second part of the chain. Okay, I don't think he's going to come back out, so we'll just recall here. Don't quite have enough money for the Everfrost yet. That's very, very sad. So we'll sell that and grab this, and we'll just TP back to lane here. It's not really the best TP example, but just wanted to get back to lane to show you guys again that E combo now. Now that we have the Everfrost, what you want to try and do is throw it into the combo once they're stunned. I don't know how she got behind us there, but essentially what you want to do is throw that Everfrost into the combo. Here's a turret dive opportunity. You can see here, you can just chain somebody and then jump out. We could have used our W there as well. But adding the Everfrost to your kit gives you a lot of extra stun and CC and kind of playmaking ability, because once you stun them with the chain, the second part of your chains, you want to use the Everfrost to keep them stunned longer, and then you follow that up with a Q slow, and it's just kind of really disgusting. Like you have 3 stuns / slows in your kit. And then you have burst damage, and then you have healing, and then you get tanky with the Everfrost. Like, you do a lot of different things. So let's run top again now. We've pushed in mid. There's no plates to get anymore. Let's steal Cass's ultimate again with our hijack, and then try and burst her out. Okay?
No more slums, no more dungeons.
Now, if you're playing Sylas jungle, you could do this basically on repeat. You could just be roaming around the jungle and doing these kind of things. So let's steal the ultimate by clicking R. Let's use the ultimate on her. While she's stunned, we're going to EQ W. Okay, so EQW is a very basic combo you want to be using. Of course, you could lead with Q or you could lead with W if you wanted to for shorter types of trades. But in general, you want to try and get that stun off, land the Q while they're stunned, and then follow it up with Ws. And you could Everfrost like that to stun them somewhere in the combo to make sure you can keep beating them down and get your Conqueror fully stacked. Okay, guys, that's pretty much it for Sylas. So I would say just have fun landing the E's and the Q's. That's the most important part to playing this guy well as a beginner, learning the E range, learning how to hit that Q effectively on the champion and tie those two abilities together, at least before level 6. And then once you hit level 6, the most fun with this guy is just stealing different types of ults and having like an experience where every game is a little bit different and all of your combos and all-ins are a little bit different. He's really, really fun to one-trick because of that and because you can play him in top, mid, or jungle. A lot of endless possibilities with this guy. He doesn't get banned a lot. That's another good thing with him, so just have a lot of fun playing him in a bunch of different roles and bursting out enemy champs. Guys, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'm going to try and post a gameplay with him very shortly so you can see this in a real PvP game, and hopefully we can pop off and have some fun in that one too. But I'll catch you in the next one.